Hey guys, this is Prove Attitude. We're going to check out Game 2 between TongFu and Ice in the International East Qualifier. If you have not checked out Game 1, you should do so before watching this one. Your link to it should appear somewhere on the screen now. Okay, assuming you're still with me, let's get this review started up. So obviously this isn't First Blood, but this is so huge and had to be mentioned. You're basically getting your team a tower kill 3 minutes into the game. The best part is, the courier would have gotten away if Enigma didn't have haste. Okay, this is actually First Blood. I promise. Seriously. There were a few attempts before this, but no deaths actually came from them. With Crystal Maiden trapped by Fissure and Outworld Destroyer attached to the tree, someone was bound to die here. OD dropped first and ES was bent on getting that Crystal Maiden. Windrunner gave chase to Lesh, who had mana for a Splitter Earth but was too scared out of his mind to turn around. Those steps are just too narrow to dodge the power shot. Meanwhile, ES failed his assassination on CM and was just trying to live now. That didn't work out for him either, chalking up 3 deaths for Ice, which gave TongFu a slight level advantage and forced Ice to play their tri-lane even more defensively. After that, CM TP'd bot for a gank, knowing top would be fine for a bit without her. It's also nice that Queen Pain got the kill here and not Crystal Maiden. Moo was hoping for a quick kill on Bruce Lee, but come on, it's Bruce Lee, and his reaction time was awesome. Popped the wand really quickly and then he slapped cold feet on Moo. 10 minutes into the game, we finally see some larger team fights happening. Unfortunately, I stacked all 3 of their stuns in a quick effort to try and save Enigma. Well, obviously that didn't work out, but they were able to pick off Queen of Pain, and Enigma for Queen of Pain is a good trade in my opinion. Poor ES though, he's only level 4 and just carrying around some smoke. Can we say druggy? In all seriousness though, TongFu is an incredibly tough opponent, as B-Boy mentioned in his interview with Ghost of Gamers before the qualifier games. Ice was pretty adamant about continuing to push the bot lane, and of course TongFu has their players in the right places again. Lesh missed his split earth, but I really feel as though it would not have changed the outcome of this fight. OD goes down fighting, and it looks like Ice might make it out with just the 1 loss, but here comes Dragon Knight burninating the lands, and Lesh knows to get the fuck out of there. Unfortunately, once again, B-Boy just can't catch a break. So it looks like Ice might finally catch a break. They stopped DK's TP, but they stacked their stuns again, and I do feel as though this affected the outcome of this battle tremendously. The rest of TongFu show up, and this battle starts going south very quickly for Ice. The black hole was placed nicely, catching DK and Queen of Pain in it. But where the hell is OD? I don't know what he was doing dicking around near Ocean, but he needed to be in this fight. He could have done a ton of damage during the black hole. This could have been easily a major turning point in favor of Ice, but their lack of communication and coordination is definitely the downfall to an otherwise amazing team.
Tower is under attack.
This changes nothing.
Now this video is starting to get pretty long, so I'm forced to cut out some clips I would have otherwise kept in. But I wanted to show this fight of Ice defending their towers and getting a few kills. The buyback on Invoker was unnecessary, but hey, they defended their Raxes and they got 2 kills. You gotta look at the glass half full, right? After defending the Raxes, Ice was able to get Roche. With OD having that Aegis, they should be able to turn things around in battle now. Yeah, this is my favorite hands down. Let's start out with the ES. He starts off the Echo Slam, followed by Sanity's Eclipse, then Black Hole to boot, catching Queen of Pain and DK in it. OD gets in there and wails on Queen of Pain until she's dead and DK's BKB is over. Then he takes him down. This fight is exactly what Ice needed to do. They had great teamwork for it and they successfully defended their Raxes and took down the 2 main threats right off the bat. Then they continued to chase and pick off supports like Crystal Maiden and Venomancer. Windrunner took a risk by coming back to try to burn the Aegis off OD, but she did it and got away just fine. Despite the excitement of that battle and the huge victory Ice had over TongFu, they went back to their old ways of bad coordination, and I honestly feel like this fight could have been fought inside the base as a team instead of being scattered about. OD jumped in even though his team was retreating, and they all made it away just fine. It was an unnecessary and costly blink. His team was too hurt, but they tried everything they could to try and save their carry. These Raxes could have been saved and Ice could have made a wonderful comeback if they had just fought inside their base with everyone there. It was so frustrating to watch this because Ice had so much potential for this fight. They won the last one basically without even having to use their ages, so we know they could do it again. They just weren't as together as a team for it. So, mid and top Raxes dropped, unfortunately. Even with 2 sets of Raxes down, Ice didn't give up, which is pretty admirable. The team is all together now to defend bottom. Enigma hangs back, jumps in with the black hole, and catches DK, Queen of Pain, and Crystal Maiden in it. Then the Meteor and Echo Slam. Holy crap, what a beautiful fight, and Ice is still in this game. So with that fight won, they can get roast once again, and of course it goes to the OD who can do the most damage after reviving from the Aegis. Alright, this looks both grim and great at the same time for Ice. They lost 2 sets of Raxes, but they have the Aegis on OD and they're staying together, and we've seen twice now the power that can happen when Ice has this opportunity. So OD immediately goes for Crystal Maiden, but gets himself into a sticky situation between Windrunner and DK. Luckily, he has the Aegis, but his team is so split up now that he has no support after he revives. DK's stun plus Shackle Shot means no attacking for OD, and he drops very quickly for the second time. The rest of Ice pull together, and I'm surprised to see that both Enigma and ES still have their ults. But this fight didn't go the way anyone had expected it to, and that's really bad for Ice. They needed to stay together, but OD jumped in and no one can get there in time to help as he died. However, they did manage to pick off 4 heroes and forced 2 buybacks. So, again, Ice is still in this game, barely hanging on. TongFu had to be sweating bullets at this point. I mean, each encounter was ending very badly for them, even now as they tried to push the final standing lane. Queen of Pain jumped in there all alone and her team just abandoned her. Then they proceeded to pick off the Windrunner too. No losses for Ice, so another hard fought battle for them. After trying a few times to fight Ice as a team, TongFu knew they just couldn't go head to head with them anymore, so they tried doing a 3-lane push. However, DK gets picked off by almost all of Ice while his team was putting pressure on the base. Everyone TVs back home to defend, and they're able to hold their own and successfully defend. The strat of pushing separately is very tricky, and you have to have good map awareness and communication to make sure one lane doesn't get picked off early by pushing too far. The defending team is going to wait till the last minute to defend inside the base, so the timing for doing this has to be pretty exact. Unfortunately, Ice was on bottom trying to pick off Queen of Pain before defending, but they just happened to see DK stroll by their ward. Anyway, Windrunner and Queen of Pain do manage to pick off OD, but he buys back into the game, as did CM and Invoker.
To the oblique, I remain undefeated.
It just keeps getting better.
TongFu continued to split up and put pressure on the Dire base. They slowly wore Ice down and made it more and more difficult to push back all the lanes. Ice does manage to pick off 2 heroes, but their team is taking a lot of damage in the process, and DK is now in there wrecking havoc. It just ended up being too much for Ice to handle. It was a long fought victory, but still TongFu pulled through with their second win in the best of 3 against Ice in round 1. Props to Ice for fighting so hard though. I honestly feel that 1 or 2 better fought battles could have carried them to a win. But at last, they are only human and we do make mistakes. Alright guys, that concludes this set of games, but be sure to check back for more reviews of the qualifier and other more recent tournaments. If you have a tournament or match you'd like me to review, feel free to shoot me a PM with the match IDs of the games. I'm Privatitude, and here's your Thunder Blunder.